1 minute wait.
Okay, we are live.
Okay. Monica, you go. We're live.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Jai Jagat, dear friends, and good afternoon, good evening, everywhere. We are very happy to be here today with you, as this is a very, very important date for all of us, and of course for the people who is in Glasgow. As you know, today starts the so expected COP26 summit, and dozens of people and walkers from different places of Europe mostly, but also some others from other countries have gathered and are joining and coming together to celebrate this conference for climate justice. And today we are very lucky because we will have some of these participants. Most of all, we will have with us Pushpanath Krishnamurti, who has been promoting hand-to-hand with the climate justice message, also promoting the non-violent economy, which is also part of our Jai Jagat campaign. And that's what we have been also promoting for the last months. We will have with us a few interviews with them and how they have reached Glasgow and what they are expecting from the coming weeks. And but before going to that part, we will also have with us other marches from the 12 days campaign that we celebrate a couple of weeks before to promote the nonviolent economy, and also trying to build up this momentum to the COP26. Before going to this incredible interviews with our marchers and to speak on their walks, let us show you a short Jai Jagat film, which was on the 2019 when the Global Peace March flagged off from India, trying to reach Geneva. And this is a great film that shows how one of the main pillars of this Jai Jagat Padayatra aimed to also promote the idea of taking care of the earth and to promote climate justice together with changing our injustice and inequity system. So let us show you that Jai Jagat film, and then we will go with our speakers of today.
The Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we humans have been around for 2 million years. Our existence is dependent entirely on the existence of Earth itself. But for the past 200 years, we have vehemently defied all the ethics of the fragile relationship we have with the planet. The Jai Jagat Yatra, an 11,000-kilometer long foot march, takes up humanity's greatest challenge of all times, the global climate emergency, through one of the four pillars of this immensely contemplative and generative movement, 50 peace walkers have committed to walk for a year from New Delhi, India to Geneva, Switzerland for spreading the message of peace and non-violence through 4 pillars while also promoting the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi and Kasturba Gandhi. The Yatra aims to engage different stakeholders and common people in a dialogue to create awareness and take necessary actions about the crisis the earth is going through at present. Of the 2,500 kilometers of Jai Jagat Yatra, the Yatris have gone through extreme heat, torrential rains and freezing temperatures. The most emerging experiences were through forests. In the Indian sojourn, the Yatris had close interaction with Saharia, Kurku and Gond tribes. Since their sustenance is through forests, they worship the nature as their god and Holy Spirit. They have been guardian to the precious natural resources. And unlike the rest of the world, they have been living in great harmony with forests. It is also hard to deny the fact that they are also the most vulnerable and disadvantaged people of the world. They are facing increasing pressure to exploit their ancestral land to feed a consumption-driven economy. That has contributed in global warming, climate change, loss of biodiversity, irregular waste disposal, and pollution.
Big company, big lobby try to prevent the water and to catch the water for the industry, and after people pay expensive for the water. And the problem is the water is a common wealth. It's for everybody. The Padyatris, as we call these travelers, have witnessed adverse effects of urbanization all through their way. Unchecked urban development has led to compromising of air and water quality. Consumption levels are so high that waste disposal has become a major issue.
Right now we're walking to a place where a lot of waste is being dumped, which is really creating a danger situation for the children here. The kids are falling ill.
As the urbanization increases at a rapid pace, there is an ever-increasing extraction of natural resources.
Mining's both in full work and also mining plots that seem to have been left and become decrepit. I suppose we'd like to try and continue this employment style. While mining is good, that's great, but what happens in the future when mining finishes and the town is then challenged for employment? Can we think about using resources perhaps in more shared and balanced ways? Could we maybe think as an administration of controlling them?
If we have acted as carcinogenic agents to the planet of life, we, the humans, and only we can bring about a positive change and restore what has been lost. No amount of technological advancement can change the present circumstances as strongly as reinstating the values of non-violence in all the structures of the world, be it economic, politics, society, education, or news and media. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, there is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed.
Thank you very much, Gary,
The earth is
for showing this film. Yeah. Following all these discussions generated at the Global Peace March, which was when this film was recorded, with the interactions with communities, why people were walking, we decided to do a 12 days campaign this year to promote nonviolent economies. And I think mostly because we have seen with the work of many people all around the world that maybe there on the nonviolent economies we can find some solutions to all these problems and issues raised by the communities, and actually because that's what communities are doing somehow. And in this 12 days campaign started on the 21st of September, the Peace Day, and concluding on the 2nd of October, the Nonviolent Day. There were a lot of different marches and mobilizations, but also actions in different countries. We have here today 3 different actions, one in India, which was the 12 days marches in 100 districts. And this was also an opportunity to talk with communities, what they are doing, how they are facing the climate crisis. And also there was one march in Lyon, France, and one also big march in Chile. So here we'll present some of these important and significant actions. And first, let me invite Ran Singh Ji, who is here with us from India. He's one of the also global peace workers, and he has also the chance and opportunity to organize and be coordinating all these different 100 yatras in India. So welcome, Ran Singh.
Jai Jagat friends, I am very happy to share our experience to organize 12 days peace and non-violence foot march in India. In continuations of Jai Jagat 2020, the 12 days 2021 Justice and Peace Foot March organized jointly by Ekta Prasad and Sarvodaya Samaj had started this unique global foot march was inaugurated by the Gandhian leader, Mr. Rajgopal PB, with a one-day fast from Patna, the capital of Bihar. Rajgopal PB leading the foot march and said on this occasions that the foot march is started on the occasional International Day of Peace, and it concluded on October 2nd, the International Day of Non-Violence. This foot march was a historical step in itself. Hundreds of youth participated in this march who talked to the people about the justice, a peace-based society. This was not only a big initiative in India, but also it was important initiative at the global level. This foot march organized in 105 districts of India, as well as different countries of the world. In India, the Madhya Pradesh is the central part of the country known as Madhya Pradesh. So this march organized in 27 districts. During the march, about the thousands of Padayatri who walk, and about 10,000 kilometers we walk and cover the 12 days long march in different programs organized every day. Important issues like climate change. We organize the tea plantations. We boycott the plastic use. We use the tea leaves when they eat. and we spread the message how we can save this planet from the pollutions at different levels. So this is very important issues like the climate change, non-violent economy, migrations, during the COVID situations, when government imposed the lockdown in India, millions of people returned back from their workplace. So millions migrate from the native place in search of employment. So migration, developing non-violence based leadership, skill among youth. So this is discussed during the walk. So this program, along with this, the local issues like how to establish a peace in the villages, visited during the march, how to the beauty why the village, how to ensure everyone access to pure and potable water, because people are suffering because of they are not access to the safe drinking waters. So this is also a big issues that we discussed during our work and to seek the non-violent solution of local problems. So Gandhian leaders, Mr. Rajgopal described the purpose of the foot march, and he said how we should make good use of important time. We have from 21st September, which is International Peace Day, to 2nd October, International Non-Violence Days, so that we spread the non-violence, justice, peace in the world. It is not important to celebrate any day, but what and which kind of programs we did around the day is important. Our aim is, instead of celebrating these days in their rooms and campus, hundreds of youth during the journey, they join us in the march on the street, and they interact with the various issues with the societies and talk about them. During the foot march, the talk of justice and peace, the non-violence, which was the loudly, and it will be our endeavor that such things should not be limited to the cities only, but reach the villages and small towns. The main objective of the foot march is to prepare the society for justice and peace and non-violence. Along with this, understanding has developed about the justice and peace based on the system in the societies. So they describe the two important goals of the foot march. Rajgopalji said that one of them was also that we have to raise the issues in front of government to establish the Ministry of Non-Violence and Peace. During the march, we had also conduct a signature campaigns for the establishment of the Ministry of Non-Violence and Peace. And the same times, our second goal was to write to the United Nations about the non-violent economy. So in this way, we were going to write that the current economy is very violent. Some people have a lot of resources and some people have nothing. That is why we talk to the United Nations about a non-violence economy. And we also launched a signature campaign about this. So overall, the purpose of the foot march is to influence the government of India as well the international committees. So in this march, more than 5,000 walkers walk per day and for 12 days. So in this way, more than 60,000 walkers walk in 12 days. And we also cover 12,000 kilometers in 105 districts in India. And we spread our message of peace and non-violence to the more than 500,000 peoples to peace, to bring the peace and non-violence. And we also spread the message how we can protect our planet from the pollutions by imposing the good practices like we boycott the plastic use, we will clean the rivers and all the water sources, and we save the trees and our forest by making the committees and awareness campaigns during this march. So this was a very wonderful march. We had very good experience. We mobilized millions of peoples and we spread the message of peace and non-violence. So I think this kind of message we also will hear from international workers during these times in several countries work for peace and non-violence. So thanks and Jai Jagat.
Thank you very much, Ransing. I think it's very, very important from all these marches that you can, I mean, the people who is walking and really can immerse and get to know deeper some of these good practices that you mentioned of communities and peoples, and most of all the Adivasis communities, right? That they have been also trying to protect the earth and their territories in different ways. And I think we have a lot to learn from them. And also it's very inspiring to see these movements that are also trying to connect different actors and different people, like trying to talk with authorities, but also to try to speak with the people and also to take this message to an international level. And thank you very much for doing this, for sharing also all of this. And I think all this work, it's also very important to understand why, and a lot of people is joining today in Glasgow, no? Like it is related with all the work that people is doing from the grassroots, and we need to highlight and recognize that. Thank you very much, Ransing. I think we will, Gary will help us to show a short film on the different 100 marches in India, so we can also picture better.
जय जगत पुकार जा, जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा।
विश्व शांति दिवस पर हम यह पदयात्रा शुरू कर रहे हैं। यहाँ से कई लोग पदयात्रा में जाएंगे और 12 दिन तक लगातार गांव-गांव में न्याय के लिए, शांति के लिए लोगों को एकजुट करने का काम करेंगे। जब तक न्याय नहीं मिलेगा, न्याय का मतलब है जमीन का अधिकार, न्याय का मतलब है घर का अधिकार, न्याय का मतलब है काम का अधिकार, न्याय का मतलब है पीने के पानी का अधिकार। ये सारा अधिकार जब तक नहीं मिलेगा तब तक शांति आने वाली नहीं है। तो यहाँ से बहुत सारे साथी, महिलाएं, पुरुष जाएंगे पदयात्रा में। 12 दिन तक गांव-गांव में संदेश देंगे और 2 अक्टूबर को जो गांधी बाबा का जन्मदिन है उस दिन कलेक्टर साहब को ग्वालियर में ज्ञापन देने का काम करेंगे।
जय जगत पुकार जा सिर अमन पे वार जा, जय जगत पुकार जा सिर अमन पे वार जा, सबके हित के वास्ते अपन सुख बिसार जा, सबके हित के वास्ते अपन सुख बिसार जा। जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा, जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा। सबसे प्यार हो, प्रेम की पुकार हो, सबका सबसे प्यार हो, जीत हो जहान की क्यों किसी की हार हो, जीत हो जहान की क्यों किसी की हार हो। जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा, जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा।
विश्व शांति दिवस है। विश्व शांति दिवस पर महात्मा गांधी के देश से सारी दुनिया को शांति का संदेश देने जा रहे हैं। यह संदेश भारत के 100 जिलों में पदयात्राओं के माध्यम से गांव-गांव में पहुंचाने का काम किया जा रहा है। आज मध्य प्रदेश के ग्वालियर जिले के मोहना ग्राम पंचायत के टीकला गांव से 200 लोगों ने पदयात्रा शुरू की है। यहाँ देख रहे हैं 200 लोगों में 100 महिलाएं और बाकी भाई लोग पदयात्रा लेकर यहाँ से निकले हैं। यह पदयात्रा 12 दिन तक चलेगी। 12 दिन में 30 गांव के 3000 से ज़्यादा लोगों तक संदेश पहुँचाने का काम करेंगे ताकि न्याय पर आधारित, शांति पर आधारित एक समाज की कल्पना लेके लोग चल रहे हैं। सबको न्याय मिल जाएगा तभी शांति आएगी। जब तक न्याय नहीं मिलेगा तब तक शांति नहीं आएगी। न्याय का मतलब है लोगों के भूमि का अधिकार, न्याय का मतलब है लोगों के मकान का अधिकार, न्याय का मतलब है कि सभी हाथों को काम मिले, कोई बेरोजगार नहीं रहे। इस उद्देश्य को लेके ये यात्रा आज टीकला गांव से यहाँ पर नेशनल हाईवे से होकर गुजर रही है। सबको जय जगत।
शांति की हवा चले जग कहे भले भले, दिन उगे स्नेह का रात रंज की ढले। शांति की हवा चले जग कहे भले भले, दिन उगे स्नेह का रात रंज की ढले, दिन उगे स्नेह का रात रंज की ढले, दिन उगे स्नेह का रात रंज की ढले। जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा, जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा, जय जगत पुकार जा सिर अमन पे वार जा, जय जगत पुकार जा सिर अमन पे वार जा, सबके हित के वास्ते अपन सुख बिसार जा, सबके हित के वास्ते अपन सुख बिसार जा। जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार जा, 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 जय जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकार।
Thanks, Gary, for this film that you have created. This shows a little bit of what Francine has showed. And also, friends, as part of these 12 days of actions, moving to another continent in Chile, there were also a March for Life, carried by this very important movement called the Neighbors of in Movement for the Pushpanath Valley, which is a community that has been struggling against the mega mining projects, trying to defending their territories, also protecting water, and many other activities on the climate justice. And on the 26th of September, they did this big march, also in collaboration with a lot of artistic groups. And here, I mean, they won't be able to join us today, but they have shared a short clip to show us what they have been doing also. So let me share with you this.
Danzan voluntades, memoria y sentir en la comunión de la tierra y sus fieles. No existen fronteras, banderas ni piel. Quiten el desierto, la flor de la vida. Las constelaciones se vuelven a mí. En la soledad de la tierra sagrada, la voz del silencio alcanzo a sentir. Brillan como soles los bronces al viento, con voz como un trueno que llama a bailar. Zapateo profundo por los que se fueron, zapateando el polvo por los que vendrán.
Yeah, I think what this is important to show is that I think all these marches, India and in Chile and also in France that we will see right now, are just like an interlude of all other walks to Glasgow also, and that's why I think it's important to see all this work also behind. And we have with us Claire Lermite from France, and she's one of the Global Peace Marchers, but also she has been on the different marches in Lyon, and she will speak about it, also how they participate on these 12 days of action, and how they have been also promoting nonviolent economy as part of this broader demand on the climate justice. Claire, welcome.
Hello, everyone. So yes, the Jejagat group of Lyon organize they organize 3-time march, like Jejagat march, but just for one day. So they walk on the streets and they visit organization. So they visit municipalities, association. And on 2nd of October, Jill Cararis was with us, and we work against the poverty and the inequality. So we visited association who built a kind of non-violent economy, like Emmaüs, Secours Populaire, and also we talk with elected municipality to see how to create activities, non-violent economy, and activities for vulnerable people. So I don't know if Monica, you can share the video of the march, or I can share.
Sure. I think, Gary, can you play it, please?
Claire, can you unmute yourself, please?
So yeah, I was telling that I can explain you a little bit what are doing Emmaüs, because it's like an example of nonviolent economy. They collect very various objects like clothes or I don't know, sofa, or a lot of objects from home, from outside, from the garden, and they rehabilitate it to sell it on their boutique, their shop, or they recycle also if the clothes are not able to sell it. They mix it with other clothes and they use it to do isolation of home or other object like that, produce like that, and like that with all this money that they win buying this object, they can help migrants or disability people or just people in difficulties, and also they welcome migrants and poor people in a home, in a community place, and these people are helped for to access to health service or to find a job, and they also help Emmaüs to rehabilitate or recycle all the product that they recycle, that they collect. So it's a kind of non-violent economy. And also this day, Gilles talk with us about her vision of non-violent economy. So the people from Lyon can listen her idea and experiences. So it was a very interesting, and I would love to that other city or Jejagat group are doing this kind of march in their city, because this is very easy. You just have to find or choose a thematic. So this day was against poverty and inequalities, and you walk on your street and you visit the association or official people or business company who are working on that. So like that, you can improve your network, and the people can discover what the local people are doing in the city for this thematic. So let's do it in your city, and that's it for me.
Thank you, Claire, for this wonderful update on the French marches. Thank you very much. Monica, are you there with us? Okay, friends, with this, we conclude the first part of our program today. And now, after a brief musical break, we will resume the program again, where we meet our marchers who are traveling from London to Glasgow to the COP26 to advocate for climate justice. So please enjoy the musical break.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, this weeping shore? What have we done to the world? Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, this weeping shore? I used to dream Whoever but become a man. Here we set the free. What about the children? Can't you hear them cry? Where did we go wrong with somebody telling why? What about the baby boy? What about the day? What about all the joy? What about the man? What about the crying man? What about Ireland? What about thanks again? Gonna give it
Thank you very much, Gary, for this short musical video clip. Now we have with us one of the walkers to Glasgow from the Camino to COP. He's part of the also Extinction Rebellion. They've been walking from, I think, September 40th, carrying a tree, a ginkgo tree, and Nick will speak on this and why they are carrying a tree and how it's been their walk and what they expect now that they have reached, I think, Glasgow, I think yesterday. And welcome, Nick Sherwood. Welcome to this Jai Jakarta space.
Hello, everybody. I have to apologize for the noise in the background, but because I'm in Glasgow and it's COP26, we've been trying to get into hotels and quiet places and they're all closed because they're only for delegates to COP. So we're in a noisy cafe. I'm really sorry, but I do have the tree with me. You can actually see the tree.
Wonderful.
Which I don't know if anybody was on the YouTube live stream earlier, but we had a really important event here a few hours ago in the center of Glasgow, and the tree was on the stage for the entire duration of the event. So it is available on YouTube, I believe. I haven't got the YouTube link to hand, but it's available on YouTube, and I really recommend. It was a really significant event with faith leaders from every kind, representing dozens of different faiths making statements about the future in terms of climate change. So I'm here. What would you like me to address first?
Well, we would like to know how it's been. I mean, you have been working from September 14th, right? How it's been the journey, well, like how it's been, yeah.
Sure. Let me explain that there are all kinds of people walking to Glasgow over the last couple of months from all sorts of different places around Europe. So from Spain and Poland and the Netherlands and other places too. Now, within the UK, I was part of a team from Extinction Rebellion that organized a Camino, which is the word that we've used for this walk. And part of it left from London and walked via Birmingham to Glasgow. Then there was another part that left from another city in the UK, Bristol, and again walked to Birmingham and then to Glasgow. And I myself was responsible for organizing a third different route, which walked from where I live, which is quite a small and rural area of the UK on the border with Wales. And we walked to Birmingham again, and then walked from Birmingham up to Glasgow. But very few people walked all the way. I myself walked for a week. Other people walked, some for as little as a day, others for much more than a week. So it was a kind of team effort where people walked as much as they could manage. So I walked about 75 miles over a course of a week, and then handed this tree, which I showed you a moment ago, was then carried by a young man called Michael, and he carried it from Birmingham to Glasgow for about 4 weeks. So very much a team effort.
Wonderful. And why are you carrying a tree, a Winco tree? Can you explain us? I mean, because we've seen a lot of walkers, but I mean, why carrying a tree? And what are you expecting to do with the tree?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just answer your second question first of all. Okay, so I'll just show you again. Okay, this is the tree. So you can, it's not a very big tree. Okay, and as you can see, the name of the project is Ginkgo to Glasgow. I don't know if you can see the word Glasgow there. So it was always the intention to plant the tree in Glasgow, and I'm very happy to say that we are now working together with a community regeneration organization in the south side of Glasgow called Urban Roots. And just this morning, I was walking around a parkland area, which is where we are going to be planting the tree on the 10th of November. And it's a part of Glasgow that was in quite a bad state about 10 years ago. And a lot of hard work has been put in to make it into now a very nice parkland and to help the community to develop in all sorts of ways. So I'm hoping that the tree is going to provide a focus for inspiration and for encouragement. So that's the second question. Now, the first question, this came out of a conversation that I was having about 6 months ago with an Argentinian activist who was opposing the fracking industry in Argentina. And he told me how he had organized a pilgrimage in Argentina about 10 years ago, in which they carried a tree for about 300 miles. The tree had been blessed by Pope Francis, who, as I think you know, is a very strong environmentalist and authored Laudato Si. So I said to this friend of mine, that's a great idea. Maybe we could use something similar when we have this Camino to the COP26 later on this year. And well, how that then happened is a bit of a long story, but that was where the idea came from, to carry a tree. But as far as a ginkgo tree is concerned, that came because I'm part of a Buddhist organization, and my Buddhist organization originates in Japan, although it's now a worldwide organization called the Soka Gakkai. And I received some information about a ginkgo tree, and in fact, I received a ginkgo seed a few years ago with a story about how this tree is one of the oldest species on Earth, and it has survived the ice ages, and it has survived the time of the dinosaurs. And in fact, more recently, there were 6 of these trees growing in Hiroshima at the time that they dropped the atomic bomb, and those 6 trees are still surviving. So it is really a symbol of how it's possible for life to survive even the greatest of challenges. And so when I heard about these facts about the ginkgo tree, I said to the Camino organization, well, if we're going to carry a tree, it has to be a ginkgo tree. And that's how we came to choose a ginkgo tree.
Well, it's wonderful. It's really inspiring and a great metaphor, but also, I mean, it is something really concrete also to go and plant this amazing tree. So really, congratulations to you and to all the team, and really thank you for giving us these few minutes. I know it's a busy day for you all, and it's complicated to join, but I think it's important also to show what is happening over there for the ones who cannot be there with you. And all the very best and best of luck, and we will try to keep in touch also for the following days.
Can I
don't know,
can I say
Nick,
one more
as a final
thing?
message you would like to, yeah, please.
Can I just say one more thing? In all the speeches we've heard this afternoon from faith leaders and also from the leader of Glasgow City Council, everybody has said they wish that there were more people here from the global south. They wish there were more indigenous people here, and that we all see it as our responsibility somehow to be able to voice for the people who we would like to have with us in person, but who can't be here.
Right. Right. That's important. Thank you very much, Nick. And yeah, we will keep an eye there, and we will see you once again in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
Best of
Thank you
luck.
very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Jai Jagat. Well, here we had a conversation with Nick from Camino to COP, And now we're also very lucky to have Sam Baker from Walk to COP26. I think you can hear us, right, Sam?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Dark? Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Welcome.
get a load of Scotland behind me here. Lowland, the
Yeah,
lowlands.
I see. Wonderful. It's beautiful. Thank you very much, Sam, also for joining. As we know, as Nick, that you're walking, you're in the middle of the darkness, and you still are here. But we would like to know also from your walk, from your team, how it's been. I mean, when you start the walk, and how it's been the journey. Have you met people? And if you could tell us a little bit more on this.
Yeah, so first of all, I don't know who's spoken before me. I had a little bit of Nick. That was great, really inspirational. I think you've been talking to and about Push, of course, who we think is fantastic and who we caught up with in Moffat. So that was really, really nice. But we set out about exactly 25 days ago. We're doing 20 miles a day on average. There's 6 core walkers, but that 6 sort of core can go up to 10, 12, even 30 sometimes for short distances. And of the 6, we've got 2 of us doing every step and the other 4 doing almost every step. And obviously the walk is just a mechanism. What we're really trying to do, like so many others, is to draw awareness to the plight of our planet and to drive up engagement in and around climate action. And for us, that really means trying to focus on building bridges or ways of engaging between different stakeholder groups. And by that, we mean local authorities, local politicians, government, on the one hand, on the other, business, a really important part of what we're trying to do. The third is then the climate action groups that we meet on the way, and the 4th is largely students. And we're not being exclusive to other groups, but those are the 4 we've been focusing on. And so we try and drive that engagement in a few different ways. So we've had a number of different events where we try and bring all of those constituencies together. So we've had those in St Albans, in Morecambe, in Coventry, in Moffat, where Push came. That was fantastic. And each time we try and get those people to engage with each other. So even if though it's their location, not necessarily our location, it's a great opportunity to get them to forge connections, have really deep, meaningful conversations about their cares, their concerns about the environment and what they're doing to combat climate change. So very much enjoyed those types of interaction. We also visit projects. So we've seen some fantastic projects which give us all hope, really inspirational. That might be sort of food recycling. It might be the development of an eco-village. It might be a peatland project that we visited, for instance, in the Langholm Institute, just near Gretna. So these have all been highly educational for us. And in response, in return, we can provide them with a little bit of media, bit of coverage, and hopefully to their benefit, so they get something out of it as well. And the third way is school visits. So probably the highlight for me has been our school visits. Absolutely fantastic. And the best bit of the school visit is the Q&A, where you get asked these really challenging questions. You get accused of cheating because you're not sleeping outside every night, and brilliant. Anyway, fantastic debate with the young people. So bright, so on it, so inspirational. We just need to we all know that, but we need to listen to them more. And then the final way is just engaging with anybody we meet on the way, having a talk about climate change, and really trying to go through a number of different questions. The first being, do they or don't they really sort of feel an impact of climate change in any shape or form? Second is, do they feel it's an emergency? The third is, do they feel agency? Can they act against it? And the final one is what do they plan to do differently, if anything, going forward? So, sorry, I don't want to rant on, but that's a quick summary of the walk and why we're doing it and who we are.
No, I know. I mean, it's perfect. I know there's been a lot of things and people you have met, and this give us a broad picture. And I mean, we know that the march is the walk. It's to go through communities and talk with all these people, and get them engaged and exchange ideas and all that. But we also would like to know, Sam, what are expecting from the COP26?
Okay, sorry, did you have a next question, or that was it? Yeah.
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so I mean, if we think of those four primary objectives, so the first one being obviously individual countries refreshing their NDCs, signing up to something commensurate with net zero in 2050, to keep us below 1.5. So obviously the hope is we're still, this is what, day one of COP. So not too late to hear more. I mean, I looked at that UNFCCC report recently, which I think tallied up the NDCs at the moment and said we get to -7% in 2030 in terms of emissions. Obviously, that's not enough. So I really hope that over COP, those commitments and those targets are strengthened, not just bringing forward the date for net zero, but actually then putting in place the pathways to that, which are more aggressive than the ones we're seeing at the moment. Obviously that's a big hope for everybody. The second one is the piece around adaptation of communities and natural habitats. And I suppose for me, just having that as an established topic and area, I think is so important, because I think certainly in business anyway, a lot of focus has been on emissions, less focus is on adaptation. And if we really want to maintain some form of climate justice, we need to have both sides of the coin. So we really need to think about who's impacted in the short and medium term, as well as driving down emissions in the medium and longer term. So that second bit is really just my hope is that it gets established as a sort of permanent feature, I guess, of COP, and it's given more airtime going forward. The third around the finance, I'd pick out obviously the 100 billion, like YCCN and others have pointed at. I haven't been reading the news much over the last 3 weeks, but certainly last time I knew the number, it was a long way off 100 billion a year. And so obviously the hope there is that a bigger number comes forward, and then it's not just sort of, loans or sort of quasi grants, but it's actually, proper form of funding, which doesn't create greater dependency. And just the final one, working together, I hope two things come out of that, the NDCs, the working together is refreshed more frequently than every 5 years, and that's agreed on the final one. And then finally, that there are better, greater cross-national mechanisms for the sorts of engagement in a very small way we're trying to drive, which is, between those four constituencies of government, business, civil society, and youth. So not a lot to ask for, I promise.
I know it's a bit late, but I think we all are like hoping all this, and it won't be so fast, but I think, it's very inspiring to see you guys. And now that we have all the gang here, not only Nick, Sam, but also I think Jay and Pushpanath has joined, and I think it's incredible to see you guys there taking up action and inspiring us. And also I think we all have to do a commitment from wherever we are, from our places, and whatever we can do. So thank you very much, Sam, for giving us some time. And I know you have to run also to another program. And I don't know if you want to invite people.
Yeah, just from me, just two things. One is thank you very much for what you're doing and popularizing this and Push's walk, etc. So thank you. And the second thing is, if there are any other walks in Glasgow or going to Glasgow still, who are going to be around on the 3rd and who haven't yet been invited, I think we've invited as many as we can find, but it's at 4:30 on the 3rd in the Strathclyde Students' Union. We have an event which is bringing all the different, epic journeys that we can find together. So I think we've got about 11 or 12 coming. So please go onto our website, look at the events, and that'll tell you where it is, what time it is, and come and join us at 4:30. Tell your story, along with 11, 12, 13 others. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you,
well
Sam. Thank you. Well done to you, and all the best of luck. And we keep in touch for the coming days. Bye-bye.
Great stuff. See ya. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Hello. I think Jan Maye and Pushpanath are there.
Hi, hello.
Hello,
Yes,
Jay. Welcome.
hi.
I know it's been a very busy and tired day also for you guys. You've been with a lot of things. You have reached Glasgow yesterday, right? And
Yeah,
we are very happy.
we reached
Mhm.
Larkhall yesterday, which is like 30 miles from Glasgow. Around no, actually like 20 miles from Glasgow. Sorry, I'm thinking in kilometers and miles. And from Larkhall, we uh, traveled today to the Glasgow Queen area, the park, and then we walked from there to COP26 venue via the city center, George Square.
Great. And what's been how it's been today today activities? I know you had a press conference, right?
Yes, we
How
did.
yeah, how it
So
was your entry to Glasgow, how people have received you.
I think people have been very encouraging, very warm, and very kind. And now, as we reached here, uh, Bush met around 4 to 5,000 people, if not a little more, in his entire walk. And a lot of the people, so he has around, I think, 2,000 odd postcards. Because in the schools that he went, the children wrote postcards with messages for Mr. Alok Sharma, who's chairing the COP26, and for Boris Johnson. And lovely messages from all these young people that we want to get across to the policymakers. Then we have very personal messages from people who spend time with us, and they're really encouraging. And they're doing a lot of work locally in all these places. So we had a lovely, lovely time. We saw some other people who were doing activism, and it's very important to kind of work together with everyone. Like solidarity makes campaigns. So we were really grateful that uh, in Moffat, I think some of our friends from Walk to COP26 also met Push. And then today we met a group of people who had traveled by caravan to COP26 with a star horse. So we had all these very interesting things going on, a boutique of things really. And we were really grateful for that. And yeah, it's been wonderful.
Wonderful, yeah. So we were wondering, I mean, I think Push there. Would you like
Yes, Push
to,
is.
for the people who hasn't heard from him, would you like to give a brief introduction of who is him and why he is walking, why he has decided to
Sure.
walk?
So Push, his full name is Pushpanath Krishnamurthy. He's a climate justice activist, and justice is the important part because he walks for the message of justice for those who are hit first, worst, and hardest by the entire climate impact, the climate crisis, the climate catastrophe, as we call it. And Push has had been campaigning for Oxfam for 30 years, and he felt that he wanted to do something on his own. So he started this walk, and he has been associated with Jai Jagat, with Rajaji and Jill Behen since a very long time, since he had spent time with them in India, and he had been to Madurai together with them. So they go back a long way. And that's how I got involved in the movement as well. But Bush himself has been walking for 30 minutes, for 30 years, has been campaigning. He's done 4 major walks, including a walk to Copenhagen. He's done a walk with the coffee farmers in Karnataka, in India. And then he's done another walk with the tea garden people. And he's worked very extensively on fair trade. But where he comes from at the heart of it is to talk about the impact of the climate crisis on the poor and the women and those who have contributed least to the problem. So that's where Push comes from. And he comes from a place of Gandhi, where he says that if you see injustice, you must do something about it. And that is the beauty of Push's journey. And that's why I'm really proud to walk with it. Sorry, Monica, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. No, thanks, thanks Jay for sharing all this, and we are also very inspiring for you being there. And I mean, we would also like to know what will happen now that you have reached Glasgow, and what will happen on the next weeks, what actions and events will be there, and how people can engage also, even if we are not there physically, right? How
Yes.
people can.
So hopefully what is going to happen is that in this COP26, we will make decisions that will ensure the leaders of the world will make the decisions that are needed. So we don't need to have a COP27. I'm not very sure if that would really happen, but I'm hoping that if the people who need that who are impacted by climate justice are represented and their voice is heard and decisions are made based on what they need, then hopefully there'll be a change. But speaking on a more direct level, Push is going to be here. We have a program happening on 3rd. We have something happening in the few days that we are here. We are meeting more people. We are going to be going to the COP26 venue. Push is going to try to gate crash COP26 if he can. But if he doesn't gate crash, then there are some friends who have tried to get him a blue pass, which will give him entry to all the COP26 events at the heart of it. So if he gets that, then we're going to get into the COP26 venue. And we're also trying, we've spoken to media friends, and thanks to Jai Jagat, we have a letter. So it's possible that we are trying to get a message from Jai Jagat, a letter from Jai Jagat across to the Prime Minister. Nick, sorry, I think your mic is muted in case you were saying something.
You want me to unmute my mic?
No, I thought you were saying something.
I'm sorry, I'm having to interact with somebody else because of the situation here. They're telling me they have to go somewhere else. Excuse me.
Of course. No worries.
I wasn't
no worries,
saying anything to anybody here.
Not at all. Sure. So, yes, Monica. So, for the people who cannot join us, it would be a lot of help to us if you can write suggestions of what we can do for climate, what we can do for climate justice, steps that can be taken at a local level and also at the macro level by the big government, but especially steps that can be taken by people. So we want people to make a pledge of what they can do for the climate, and we want people to give a suggestion of what their government can do for the climate. And we'll try to take these messages to the policymakers and see if we can get some of them across at least. People can record their message of solidarity and support. That's always very, very nice. And we have invited people to do a 1.5 kilometer walk because we want to keep the temperature of the planet under 1.5 kilometers. So people can record that and upload it to the Facebook page. And they can also upload it to the what do you call it, to Go Push Go, the Facebook page of Pushpanath. So those are both possibilities. Then there are some recommendations that we had. I think Gary Bhai had made a presentation of that on behalf of Jai Jagat. We can, if you want, we can share some of those.
I think we will share it. We will share it in a few minutes. But before going to that, I mean, I think it's amazing what you have suggested. I think people has a few ideas.
It's very important. Something that Rajaji spoke about earlier today, and Jill Behan also mentioned, is that we really need to tap into the indigenous learnings, the learnings of our Adivasi communities, the learning of our friends in South America, from the islands, because they are the ones who have learned how to live in harmony with nature. And quite often their solutions do not destroy the planet, because their solutions don't come from let's mine for coal and let's dig an oil field. So it would be really great if we could tap into the indigenous learnings, because they are non-violent towards nature. And I think what must have been spoken about earlier in this in this discussion here would be the idea of a non-violent economy and a non-violent approach to nature. So I think that's very important. But yes, if nothing else, just give us a shout out, say Go Push Go, and do a walk with us in solidarity with us and join us. and let us know if there are any walks that you'd like us to join, because me, Push, Dheera, we are all here in Glasgow, and we would love to join whatever else is happening in the region, come together, have discussions together, and build a movement. It was brilliant to see Nick and Sam here, for example, and we're really grateful for their presence. We are hoping that other friends from across the world will also come and join us in Glasgow, and we can do something together.
Right. I think actually, Jay, that Nick has sort of, he wants to speak a little bit on another march that maybe you could join. I don't know, Nick, are you still with us? Nick, are you there?
I think Nick had another program going on, which he had to kind of simultaneously address.
Well, maybe if he come back, he can speak on that. But he mentioned a walk with a large polar bear from Wales arriving in Glasgow tomorrow. So maybe also you can connect with them and see how to join efforts. I think Nick is here now. Yeah, Nick, would you like to speak on that walk? Maybe they can join.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I'm having some technical problems. I pushed the wrong button and I couldn't find. And it's just that somebody we know, because he started from a place that's not very far away from where we started in Hereford. Hereford is just on the Welsh border. This guy's name is Bamba, and he started from just 30, 40 miles away from where we are. He's walked all the way from there, not as part of a big walk in the terms of numbers, but he's walking with a polar bear, which he made himself. It's a very large polar bear. So it's a very different kind of walk. And I was just looking to see if I could find some more information about it. I was just looking back on the WhatsApp channel, because I had a message from him today saying he's arriving in Glasgow tomorrow, and he's asking people to walk in with him from 12:30. So I can tell you where he is and where he would like people to meet if you're interested.
That'd be
but
wonderful.
I can't, unfortunately. Shall I tell you that? Would you like me to put it in the chat, or should I just say it?
I think both would be nice.
Okay, so it's a place called Busby. That's Busby. Okay, and that's south of it's south of Glasgow. And he says he is starting from the train station in Busby at 12:30 tomorrow, and he's going to walk 6 miles into George Square with the polar bear. And I'll try and send you a picture of the polar bear. It's not a very good picture, but you'll get the idea if I send it to you. So you'll see why he's had quite a lot of press interest in what he's doing. This is not a very good picture, but I'll try and send it to you, okay?
Sure.
Great, thank you very much, Nick. And yeah, I hope you can connect, guys. And there we have also Push. Go, Push, go. Go, Push, go. Hello, Push.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Finally, you are there in Glasgow.
Yeah, I know. It feels a bit surreal, I can't even imagine I'm here already. A million step along with Janmejay and most of the time Dheera as well. So it's been quite extraordinary, having an opportunity to meet priests, politicians, parents, pupils, passengers, postwomen, just about everybody. Yeah, it's got an extraordinary journey, and I've had 22 hosts, each one like a slice of Britain, and I would spend quality time with them. Outside that, I'll go to some church talks, and young people, students is the most significant group I have met, and more than 1,000, and
Wow.
I've got at least 2,000 cards of messages from them.
Wow, amazing. Well, Jay has shared what will happen for the next days, some of the actions you are joining and holding. But maybe if you could tell us just very brief, what are you expecting for the coming 2 weeks after all this long journey?
I think it's important to start off today. I was supposed to come on the 3rd, but today I arrived because the Prime Minister of India, Modi ji, is expected to come. So the South Asian media was here. They were very keen to meet. So we had to really make a lot of adjustment in here. We've been able to reach out to three major television and another group, and I've had one after the other interview today afternoon. So if people in India, I think if they're looking out for NDTV, India Today, Times, they will probably see this regular guy, regular hair talking. And sometimes I was wearing a Scottish kilt as well. So they may like to see that. And the messages I've given both about the walk, why do I walk? What is the kind of message I have for the great leaders who have come here? And what kind of change I look forward to? Those are the things. And therefore, what we're going to do is look at an itinerary and see where tactically, strategically our presence would actually enhance, and we learn and link. But by the way, I want to say, we probably now have about 12 to 13 good people who are all interested in Jai Jagat.
Wow.
And yeah, I think they could potentially be the core group. They will be very serious. They can contribute to you.
Wow.
That's part of my to make sure that happens. Wherever I had an opportunity, I've communicated the story of Jai Jagat.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Push, for that. We are very happy also to strengthen and make bigger our network. And yeah, I mean, we're sure there must be wonderful people. And also thank you very much for giving us hope with your work and all the things you're doing.
Ask anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody in Glasgow actually can meet us. If they are there, we will try to link with them, and we are happy to share. I think we need to tell our stories.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And we will keep an eye on you and all and your work, and to see what happened in the next weeks for sure. And have a good rest also after all this, a lot of things happening there. Thank you very much, and Jai Jagat, friends.
Jai Jagat.
Jai Jagat.
Jai Jagat.
Go Push.
Go Push, go. Thank you. Well, we are, let me introduce you. We are getting to the closure of this program, but before, we want to share with you a couple of things. One is, let me introduce you, Jill Harris, who will speak on this letter, open letter that Jay has mentioned to the Prime Minister of India, with few recommendations. And then we will also speak on the recommendations that came out from a youth webinar before the 12 Days of Action campaign also. But first, over to you, Jill. Welcome.
Thank you, Monica. It was wonderful to see Nick and Push and all of these walkers bringing important messages to Glasgow. We wanted to let people know that we have sent an open letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as we live in India, and we wanted to call on him to take leadership to regulate carbon or greenhouse gas emissions to save future generations. And we raised the example of the walkers with walkers, which you've seen earlier in India, who are deeply concerned about the state of the planet and the volatility of the weather and floods and droughts, and realizing that this is an absolutely urgent situation that needs immediate action. With all of the calling of climate emergencies, we wanted Prime Minister Modi to also recall Gandhi's statement of living simply so others can simply live. We think of, in this statement, all of the ecological refugees and the people whose poverty will be exacerbated by this continuing climate crisis, which affects agriculture, food production, forest dependence, fisher folk, and those people that push calls at the bottom. And so this is a time, I think, where we need to stand up and look at creating a sustainable and nonviolent economy. So we put forward this notion of nonviolent economy as a way to increase local production, local consumption, whereby we are reducing not only fossil fuel emissions, but also enabling a greater number of people to access resources. So it is in this note to Prime Minister Modi that the open letter will be also given to him as he arrives in Glasgow today. And we hope that we will see some sort of initiative on the part of the Indian government, as we hope on the part of all governments. This is something that no one country can make any significant change unless it's many countries together. And so we, again, see this as a most urgent moment in our history and call on our leaders to take up the opportunity of being together to take some solid decisions, and decisions which they will go take home and implement. So this was the open letter to Modi, and I want to thank Monica for giving us the opportunity to present it. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Il, for sharing this also with our JJGAT audience. I think it's very important, a very important action, in fact. And also as a complementary part of this, we would like to share with Claire, also from France, who was part of the JJGAT Youth Network. We held a webinar on climate justice on the 29th of September, I think. And there was an interesting discussion with a lot of young activists from all over the world. And after the webinar, after the meeting, we came out with some recommendations. And I think it's important to say that these recommendations are from the work they are already doing, they have been doing in their communities. And I think Claire can help us to share some of this. Over to you, Claire.
Yes, so in this meeting, a few people from, in fact, a lot of continents. We had people from Philippines, from Rwanda, from Denmark, from India, from Colombia, Mexico, France, Bolivia. Yeah, so a lot of people. Maybe I miss some country. Youth people come together and share their claims, their recommendation that they would love to carry to Glasgow. And I try to put to extract 4 recommendations from this experience, which was wonderful. So the first one, it's the first recommendation is that all the organization, activists, all the country, let's organize together. So yeah, now we see a lot of initiative, a lot of activities at local level in various places, and people from Rwanda, for example, or from Philippines, ask that all this initiative have to share their activities, and also to come in one voice, to have more power on their governments, and in Glasgow on the world finally. So yes, the first claims is that ask to all the organization and activists to share their ideas and to help themselves. The second one, it's we talk a lot of misinformation and misconception of climate change that multinational or leaders are sharing. We'll talk a lot of greenwashing, for example. So we ask that all of us share the good information about the process of climate change. So to also research and to connect with university and also indigenous people who know a lot of things about nature environments, to share the climate change process, what it will happen, and also the good practice. So yeah, the second one is to share the information through schools at different level, through media, social media. The third one, it's we talk a lot on economy, the global economic model which has to change also. And we will agree on decreasing and respectful of nature and people economical model. We are not believe on modernity development, and we are thinking that we have to be more we have to respect more nature and people and live with, I don't know, less energy or stuff like that. And we have to share also the lifestyle of indigenous people who are or little farmer people who live in according to and in harmony to the nature, and listen them to see how to live in harmony with nature. And the last one is to ask at governments and big company to repair and finance a reparation of nature that they destroyed, because we talk a lot of how to create a natural park, but we didn't talk on all the landscape and countryside that that European people or China or other country, America, already destroyed in Africa or South America. So for COP26, people from, for example, Mexico, Kenya, or Bangladesh asked to to the government to repair or finance a reparation of this place, and to give the power of the power at the local people, and stop to decide for them what they have to do to protect their nature, in creating, for example, natural park where which they extract local people from their place. So yeah, the last one is to ask to the government to repair and finance a reparation of nature that they destroy, and to give the power at local population. So maybe I have to receive each point. So the first is to ask at all the organization and activists and group from all the world at different level to organize together, to work together and organize together. The second one is to stop the misinformation, the greenwashing from leader and multinational, and to share the truth and the best practice to front the climate change. The third one is to ask at our government to change their economic model, and to have in sense a disagreeing and respectful of nature and people economical model. And the last one is to ask us government to repair and finance a reparation of nature that they destroyed, and to give the power at local people.
Yes, thank you very much, Claire, for this summary of all the recommendations that came out from that meeting with young activists and the people from the grassroots movement. And as Jay said, we can keep adding to those recommendations. If you are listening to us right now, you can share with us what do you think it needs to be discussed, or what we can do as social, as civil society, but also what people and authorities must do. And I am confident that some of these items will be discussed during the coming weeks, and we will see what comes from that. But also, I mean, it's not only about discuss and talk, but also like what there are a few things that we can do right now, right away, in changing our lifestyles. And that's also what we have been promoting on the 12 Days of Action campaign on nonviolent economy. And yes, to keep in mind those things that needs to be discussed on a global and broader level, but those things that we can do in our concrete lives. So yes, thank you very much, Claire, and everybody for joining us today. Thank you very much for the walkers who are giving us a great example of commitment also. And we will close this program with a final short video on the Push and Jay's walk. And we hope to see you soon. And we invite you to keep an eye on our social media and the website, where we will keep updating you on the coming weeks on the COP26. So thank you very much, and Jai Jagat.
Let's justice. Go, let's go. And then I say, and then Jai Jagat means victory.
Because when Push talks about climate justice, he talks about the people who are enduring, unremitting poverty and hardship, who are the most vulnerable.
Push go. If you just put, see the message, what it meant to you, to be done. And while I'm doing that, I thought, today it's good. Kapom, kapom. Kapom, kapom. Bhumiye kapom. Bhumiye kapom. Arivom, arivom. Arivom, arivom. Parvanilai arivom. Parvanilai arivom.
जगत जय जगत जय जगत पुकारे जा जय जगत